Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. In today's pro tips video, I want to cover an arm balance called Eka Pada Galavasana. So you may have seen this pose in one of my recent practice videos, arm balance jam. And that's jam is in rock and roll, not the jam that you eat. I have no idea how they share that name, but somebody will Google it and send me and post it in the comments below. That's a good idea. Okay, so Eka Pada Galavasana, it's an arm balance that requires open hips and some strong arms and also some sense of balance, okay? So we're gonna play with all of those. I'll give you a couple of stages to work with. So if you're not able to get into full form of the pose, don't stress it, don't panic, don't freak out, don't change the channel, but stay with me, okay? So let's start just by, actually let's open the wrists first. I like to do that first just since we're already seated and it's easy to do right here. Shake out the hands, shake out the wrist, nice and sweet. When I shake out my hands like this, I like to let the shaking go kind of all the way up the arm, you know, and if you do this in public, people will move out of your way, guaranteed. Oh, I could just keep going on that riff, but I won't. Okay, so palms facing forward, thumbs tucked in, curl the fingers around. We're going to make nice, sweet movements. Oh, the reason why I was saying I shake all the way up my arms is because I like to feel where in my arms I have tension and kind of, I just kind of work it out right there. So I have a little bit of tension. I notice when I go this way, I can feel it in my forearms. So shake it out again, nice and sweet. We'll do the traditional hands in prayer pose, fingers open. We're going to turn the fingers to face us and just go left to right. And all of the pro tip arm balance videos, I've been doing this as a wrist opener. Fuck that up. Wrist opener. Okay. All right. Too much coffee, seriously. Okay. All right, now we got the wrists open, nice and juicy. Let's get into the hips, all right? So from downward facing dog, we're gonna come into pigeon prep. Let's start with the left shin forward. As you bring the left shin forward, do your best to get the left shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. And if it doesn't get there, it's no problem. And then we're gonna start to open up the pose or deepen the hip stretch by moving the right leg back, okay? You'll start to, you can already see like my left foot is quite active. So the bottom of the foot is vertical. This is going to be the shape of the foot for the pose once we get it to the back of the arm, okay? Stay on fingertips, open the heart, and then just let this kind of settle in. And if you need a little bit more time to get things open, just pause the video and press play when you're ready. And then we're going to bring the forearms to the ground. This is going to start to kind of form the basic shape of the pose, where the shin is on the back of the upper arms. Okay, and then as I ground through my hands, move the heart forward, get you a little bit deeper into the hips. I'm already feeling that. And then check out my foot. See how my foot stays active? This is going to be super important. See the bottom of the foot, toes are back, straight line. That's going to be super important once we get into the general form of the pose. Okay, let's switch sides. Downward facing dog. Bring the right shin forward, left knee down. And then start to walk the pose open by moving the left leg back. See our fingertips, open the heart. You can't see it so much from this angle, but the right foot is also active. Bottom of the foot is vertical. It's just like a straight line. And then we're going to bring the forearms to the ground. Bring the elbows to the front of the shin. Ooh, that's deep. And if that's too deep for you, just stay on fingertips. It's no problem. Use the arms to ground and open the heart. Okay, cool. Start to bring it out. All right, so I'm going to show the pose first. I'll kind of describe all of the working parts to it, and I'll show the full form of the pose, and then we will do it together, right side, left side, okay? So check it out. So we're going to start by standing, and I'm going to cross the left foot over the right knee. This is kind of like Utkatasana chair pose. get super low, and this is the pigeon pose that we just did, same form. Then we're going to bring the hands to the floor. Now when I place the hands on the floor, my hands are shoulder width apart, just like plank pose, nothing changes, okay? Now this left foot, watch how it locks into the outside of my arm, okay? So as it locks to the outside of the arm, I'm going to lean forward thinking chaturanga, and then the foot, there's a point where when I lean forward, the foot gets light, it'll lift off on its own. That's when I can bend the knee, lift it off the floor. Now as I lean forward a little bit more, there's a point as I stretch the leg out that the leg is light. Okay, I call that the light point. Okay, so I'm going to come down. As you lean forward, you're creating counterbalance. And that counterbalance of leaning forward lets the back part of your body be light. And it's kind of I visualize it like a straight line of lightness. I don't know how to explain, but the leg is stretching through that line, okay? And it's a direct line from your counterbalance of the shoulders or the chest leaning forward. If you go above that line, you're gonna go over. If you go below that line, you're gonna drop down, okay? So it's almost like really like threading a needle. You wanna move it through that point super light. And you'll know if you're out of that light line because you're gonna start to tilt forward or you're gonna start to drop back, okay? That moment, hug in, pause, see if you can find it again, okay? Let's try it. So we'll do the same side. We're gonna bring the left shin over the right knee because that happens to be my good side. So let's do it. Squatting pose, Utkatasana. And we're going to just cross the left ankle over the right knee. Take a little squat now. Hook the left foot to the outside of the right tricep. And just kind of, right here, you can inch your right foot back just a little bit so that when you lean forward, as you start to lean forward, chaturanga, the right foot can get light. Bend the knee to lift it up. And then we're going to start to stretch the right leg straight, looking for that light point. And release. Super! Cool. So in the practice video of Arm Balance Jam, one of the comments that somebody left, they said, okay, I found the light point on one side, but not the other side. So typically that has to do with the opening of the hip, okay? So right now my right leg was stretching back, but that is only because my left hip is super open. So it's allowing this kind of open energy to happen. So typically if you're unable to stretch that leg, right, it's usually because the leg that is in front, that hip is tight on the outside. Let's try the other side. Yeah. So come to standing, take a little bend in the knees. We're gonna cross the ankle, right ankle over the left knee. Squat in, place the hands on the floor. Hands are still shoulder distance apart. I'm going to slide my left foot just a little bit back so that when I start to lean forward, it can lift off the floor. Okay. Lean forward, chaturanga arms. Whoop, there's the light point. Foot lifts up. Then we're going to stretch the leg back. Whoa. And bring it in. Okay. So, all right. So on that side, I impress myself because it's usually my right hip is tight, so my left leg can't stretch back so much, but that was fucking pretty good, I have to say. So as we just check out the wrist a little bit as I continue to ramble on. So take that one in stages. You can go back, check it out, but you really, again, start to explore and experiment with that light point, okay? Don't rush it. This is definitely a pose where you don't want to, jump into it or, really rapid, quick movements. Be super sweet with it, like threading a needle. It's exactly like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a super fabulous day. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Thanks.